my screen viewing. Okay, good morning, everybody. What in the world? My computer's acting all wonky and I can hardly see you guys.
Oh, it's going. It's all right. It's
There
going.
we go.
We're live. Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Mastermind. We are, of course, having some random technical difficulty as usual. It seems to be par for the course, right? If you're on a hangout, there's always technical difficulties. Okay, so anyway, good morning, good morning. Welcome everybody to the Saturday Morning Mastermind. We're glad to have you on here with us this morning. And, you know, wherever you're hanging out from, go ahead and comment on our page and let us know who you are, where you're hanging out from, and, you know, have you been here with us before? Is this your first time? Have, you know, just comment on there and let us know what you're up to and that sort of thing. We're each just going to introduce ourselves a little bit, and then we'll talk about the book that we're studying, and then we'll just jump into the chapter. But I'm Samantha Studebaker-Carl, coming at you from beautiful Southwest Georgia, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm looking forward to this discussion. It's a great chapter. And, okay, so somebody else can jump out. I'll try and adjust myself so the sun isn't, like, right on my nose.
Good morning. I'm Sandy Root here in Miami Beach, Florida. Sunny day, and I'm happy to be here. Another great chapter. I mean, I probably say that every week, but it's always a great chapter. This is an awesome book. I'm reading this for the second time, and it's you know, it just goes deeper the more you read these kind of books over and over again. So I'm really excited to be going through it again and learning and implanting these awesome seeds even deeper.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Vicki DeVore. I'm coming at you from Houston, Texas here too. Beautiful clear skies and sunny, and it's actually been cool enough. I haven't had to run the air conditioner, so I'm a happy camper, and I'm looking forward to delving deeper into this book and this chapter and seeing what golden nuggets we can extract from it today to apply.
Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine Clement. I'm in Boulder, Colorado, and Vicki, I've had my heat on for a while now. I have to turn it on at night anyway because it's pretty chilly here at night. So, and it was dark when I got up this morning. So I was like, oh my goodness, we're headed into winter. So I'm happy to be here this week. I'm sorry I missed last week, but it was one of those things. So I'm glad to be here and look forward to discussing this book. And I love what you said, Sandy. You know, reading these sorts of books one time is never enough. You need to go back and hit it again because your life changes, circumstances change, and you'll read it from a completely different perspective every time, and you'll gain a different nugget each time. So I look forward to discussing it. Thanks for coming, everyone.
That's absolutely right. I love how that works. And it also, you know, the fact that we come together as a group and we discuss these different things helps us gain insights in ways that we wouldn't if we were just reading the books. And then, of course, it goes the same way as if you have the audio version of the book and, you know, you read the physical version, then you listen to the audio version, you can gain even more insight, which it's really kind of fascinating to me because it's like your brain processes it in a different way, and so then you learn something new in a different way, and so I think that's just really powerful. So it's one of the main reasons that we come together every week on our Saturday Morning Mastermind is so that we can help each other learn these principles in much more effective ways and learn different aspects of these principles as well. But we're reading the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age, and we're on Chapter 3. And Chapter 3 is talking about, it's the third thing in the section, let me get to the beginning of this section, because Part 1 is all about the essentials of engagement. So Chapter 3 is about connecting with people's core desires and, you know, and being able to engage with them in this way. You know, most of us here on our hangout are all in the home business industry in one way, shape, or form, and I think one of the biggest things that people struggle with in this industry, especially when they first get started, is understanding how to connect with people in a way that helps them to, make sales and grow their business and get more team members and that sort of thing. And I think that when we first get in the business, we're so caught up in the fact that we have these sunshines and lollipops idea in our head that it's just going to turn into thousands and thousands of dollars overnight. And the reality is that it takes time to build those relationships. And we hear all the time that relationship building is the key to home-based business, and the truth is that that's absolutely true. So what we love about this book is the fact that it kind of helps us remember how to build these relationships in a way that can be mutually beneficial to everybody that's involved. And of course, when no matter what business you're in, I know that you have this feeling of, I know my products are just so awesome and they're amazing, and I know that they can help anybody achieve whatever it is that you think they can achieve. And it's like my business is marketing tools, and so I know that my tools can benefit anybody who's trying to market their business online. I think that's the same for Vicki and Sandy too. And then Catherine, I'm not entirely sure which business that you're working right now, but I know that you're also into health and healing and stuff like that. So I know that's part of it, and you know that the stuff that you're sharing with people can help people in so many different ways. And then Danielle, when she jumps on here, I think she's having some technical difficulties. She's she's in the weight loss and that sort of industry, and she's like, I know it can help everybody too. But we have to remember that just because we know our product is awesome doesn't necessarily mean that it is the answer to the problem that every specific person is having. And so when we're trying to connect with people in such a way that they will buy our product, we have to determine, okay, what is it that they ultimately are trying to accomplish in their life that we can kind of meet in the middle and have it be mutually beneficial. So let's see here. So I was kind of reading through our pre-mastermind discussion because everybody shared so many wonderful thoughts on this chapter. Does anybody want to jump out and say anything? I mean, I've been talking the whole time, so if you feel like adding, you can jump in at any moment.
Yeah, well, what you were just saying was a lot of what I was talking about in part of my discussion in the pre-mastermind. How when I first came online, it was like I was desperate for money, and I think, people felt that I didn't really connect with people. I was more marketing, but not really building relationships, but just putting myself out there wherever I could on the internet. But then, as I grew and learned and learn the industry and then learn how to actually work with people thanks to books like this and masterminds like this, and it's a whole world of difference. It's like that desperation for money almost went away. It's because I'm not even thinking about the money when I'm talking to somebody anymore. When in the beginning it was like, oh, I hope they join me, or I'm going to die if they don't, or so this desperation, and they feel that on the other end, but rather coming from a place of really caring and seeing what they want, where they're coming from, what is their desire. It's like the money isn't even an object. I'm not doing it for the money anymore. And it reminded me of this paragraph in the book. I'll just read it. The world is full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. Tries to serve others, has an enormous advantage. He has little competition. Owen D. Young, a noted lawyer and one of America's great business leaders, once said, people who can put themselves in the place of other people, who can understand the workings of their minds, need never worry about what the future has in store for them. And that was, I think, my favorite quote in the whole book. When you understand other people, in the whole chapter, when you understand the workings of other people's minds and what their desires are, what their core desires are, you don't have to worry about your business or where it's going or what your future is financially, because you pretty much have it all in your hands right there by using this awesome skill. And I think a lot of people sometimes think maybe this is some sort of manipulation or a way to harm people, but it's I mean, it probably can be twisted into that way, but you know, we're using it to help people and to help ourselves, and it's a win-win when we go from this place. And again, you know how he says it's a rare individual who selfishly tries to, you know, serve others. I think we all know seen this because we get bombarded with people who are just spamming their links or here, hi, you're my new friend on Facebook, check this business out. Well, hello, I'm a person. How about first trying to get to know me? So we know that's rare. So when we are you know, really caring about others, it stands out big time. So that's my little bit for now.
You know, one thing that comes to mind for me is when Sandy reading that passage about, you know, tirelessly and selflessly caring about other people, I had an immediate image of Mother Teresa, you know, coming up into my mind, that you know, how she impacted so many lives, and she never really once really, I guess it's not that she didn't care about herself, because I'm sure she did, but you know, but just the fact of the number of lives that, because of following that principle in the book, you know, that she was able to touch so many. So that's just kind of my little tidbit. Sorry, Samantha, I guess it's part of the delay, so sorry about that.
That's okay. I wanted to just real quick touch on what Sandy was just saying about, you know, a lot of times people think that, you know, this book, because it says influencing people, you know, has to do with manipulation. And there's this section here that says influencing others is not a matter of outsmarting them. It is a matter of discerning what they truly want and offering it to them in a mutually beneficial package. And I think that's really the key right there, is just coming together. I mean, any great salesperson who is, you know, just really good at their job understands that, because it's not about just getting your product or your service in the hands of another person. It's about providing them with something that is going to benefit them, that is going to enrich their lives in some way that they are choosing to have and be a part of, because they want something out of that too. And I think that's the key right there. But real quick before we move forward, I just wanted to give some shout outs to folks that are hanging out with us. Welcome, Marlene. Welcome, Nancy. Let's see who else is hanging out here. I thought I saw some more. Monali and Betty. Welcome, welcome, ladies. And again, if you're hanging out with us, go ahead and comment on the page. We're welcome to have you, or you know, we're we're happy to have you. And you know, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this discussion as well. Okay, that's all I wanted to add at the moment. Did you want to jump out, Catherine?
I can. Sandy, I agree with you. When I first came online, I think we were just trying to be coachable, actually. We were trying to do what we were told to do, you know, which is basically spam everybody. And but when you first come online, you don't really, and you're presented with, okay, this is how you do it. You don't see it as, you know, you think you're just doing what you're supposed to do, and you don't realize until you've been in it a little while that that is completely just spam and not connecting with people. And Samantha, half the time I don't know what I do either, so that's okay. You don't know what I do. You know, that's an interesting point, because some of the other books that we've studied, you know, you have to be very precise and clear about what you're doing and everything. And I'm not, you know, I mean, I help people in such a variety of ways that it's hard to just put one label on that. Maybe wellness coach or something like that. I don't know. Mostly health related stuff, but lots of business stuff as well, because no matter what you're online to do, you still have to learn how to communicate with people and remember that it is a person on the other side of that computer screen. Somehow people lose that. I don't know how that happens, where you're trying to have a conversation with someone and they just, because you're on a computer instead of face to face, they just act in a completely different way, or at least I think they do. I don't know, maybe they act that way in person, but you know, we have to remember that we're all humans here, and that's one of the great joys of coming together like this in a group where we can connect and share, you know, share insights with each other, and hopefully some of those people, I don't know if they take time to see these or not, but hopefully so that they can understand that it's so important just to make a one-on-one personal connection and find out what that person needs, because as you said, Samantha, we all have so many different things that we can offer. And it doesn't matter how beautiful that shiny object is or how good we think it'll work or anything else. It's really just matters what that person needs in their life to help them find the success or the joy. You know, this sort of mindset work, I just want to say, and then I'll shut up. This mindset work is not just for entrepreneurs. You know, it's for everybody in their life, regardless of whether they're trying to build a business or just get along with their spouse or, you know, make amends with their parents. I mean, we all know, because we've had some of these conversations here with the books that we've gone through, that this type of work, you know, helps everybody, whether they're an entrepreneur or not. So hopefully we've got lots of people watching or will watch the recording. Okay.
I wanted to just kind of touch on a couple of things that were talked about in our pre-mastermind discussion. I thought Danielle was going to be able to get on, but it doesn't look like her computer is working in such a way that she can join us. That's unfortunate. But she was talking in the pre-mastermind discussion how she, of course, she's in a health or like a weight loss kind of related business, and she said that she had connected with this one woman who was very interested in her products, and she was like wanting to purchase all these different products. Well, Danielle recognized that not all of those products were right for that woman. And so, of course, she said, you know, she had a conversation with her and kind of determined exactly what the woman wanted to accomplish and said, okay, well, this is what is going to work the best for you. This isn't going to work so well for you. And so she actually kept the woman from purchasing a couple of products that wouldn't have done her any good anyway. But by doing that, she actually elevated herself in that client's mind, and then that person went on to refer multiple other people to her. And so I think this is a key thing that I think a lot of us miss, or a lot of folks miss when they come online, is that you want to become the trusted advisor. Because if you are a trusted advisor, then people will come to you for advice and they'll purchase what you recommend. And, you know, by not having the sale be the number one most important thing and having that person's needs be the most important thing, that's what helps you establish yourself as that trusted advisor. You know, and this works in every business, no matter what business that you're in. If you are in service or sales of any sort, you know, you really getting to know what that person truly wants, that underneath. It's like in here it talks about how, let's see what it said. It was saying influence requires more intuition than intellect. And that is so true, because, you know, just because somebody says that they want, you know, they say one thing, you have to understand your product and service well enough to realize how it's actually going to benefit that person. You know, it's like when I was in my pet grooming business, I came across this situation a lot of different times where a pet owner would say, you know, I want this particular type of haircut. And of course you would look at the dog, I would ask all these questions relating to the pet's lifestyle and the family's lifestyle, because I could see how a particular haircut may or may not benefit that dog. If they're like, you know, if they want this big long haircut and they go camping every weekend, those two things don't go together, you know. So it's like you kind of have to determine what it is they really want and then help them make a decision that is going to, you know, equal that answer, basically, is what it boils down to. Looks like Marlene commented on our page. Let me scroll down here and see what she said. Marlene says, good morning. I have really experienced salespeople this last week. We were here to get a new car on last Saturday. The dealer was going to another dealer to get the car we wanted. The communication between dealerships showed that they need to read and value commitments. They need to read about maintenance. The first dealer sold the car out from under our dealer. The sales manager and the salesman were afraid to tell us and did not communicate. We were picking up the car that had been delivered from Nevada today. Universe does provide. That's a great point, Marlene. You know, that communication is such a huge thing, and I think that we see this in so many different industries and so many different situations, particularly when we're talking about you know, interpersonal relationships in a business, you know, between managers and salespeople and employees and company and I mean, and this can happen in families and everything else. Is one person says one thing and then someone misconstrues it and makes it into something else, and then before you know it, it's a completely different story than what it started out to be. Okay, so somebody else jump out and see to share your thoughts.
I really love Danielle's post too. That's awesome. You know, that's a great example, and it's funny. It's like we've been trained in this world to like do the complete opposite of what we're supposed to do, or how we're supposed to act, or it's like, how did this get all twisted and backwards? Anyway, I'm glad we're learning the proper way and that we're good, awesome, genuine, nice people that really care about people. And I really feel that all of us on the panel are that, you know, genuine and real, and so I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, I was thinking too how in the beginning you said how we reread the books and it goes in deeper, and this discussion, you know, is super big part of that too. It's just that puts it even deeper and deeper, so I'm grateful for this. There was another part of the chapter that I really liked about, what were they? These two guys introducing these new life insurance policies, and one, you know, he was pretty just like blah blah, like telling a couple people about it, sort of nonchalantly, and then another guy was just super enthusiastic and you know, really just hurried over, and he's telling these people about the life insurance policy, and it's new, and I'm going to have someone come and explain it, and blah 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 blah. And you know, it made me think, you know, when I feel someone's enthusiasm for their business, for their product, it attracts me to it. It's like, well, what are they so excited about? I got to see what this is. And when I'm like that, I feel that I'm attracting people too. When I have a real enthusiasm for what I'm doing, people are like, what is she doing? I got to go look at what this is. So I think, you know, again, being from a genuine place, because I also think of the, you know, the people who are enthusiastic, but they're just pushing it all over the place on the people who don't need it, but to really be enthusiastic, but then, you know, like in Danielle's example, know when somebody maybe wants or needs something, and when maybe they don't want or need it, but still having that enthusiasm with a genuine and honest and honesty behind it. So for me, that resonated, because I can think of a few mentors of mine that I really connect with, have this awesome enthusiasm for their business, and you can hear it in their voice, feel it in their energy, and I'm really attracted to that. So that story stood out to me in the chapter.
It seems to me that go ahead, Catherine. Sorry. It kind of seems to me that, you know, in the realm of, like Sandy was talking about, when you have that genuine enthusiasm, but you know how not to, quote, puke all over everyone, you know, is that part is really what is called the true art of sales. You know, you remember seeing some of the old-time movies where, you know, the guy or the gal may be going into the clothier and stuff like this, and they're explaining to the clothier, you know, that they need a suit, and, you know, that it's going to be for a special occasion or things like this. And in those older movies, that art of salesmanship was exactly what this book is talking about, and this particular chapter is talking about, is getting to know the exact needs and the wants and providing that solution, you know. So, of course, in the movie, you know, the measurements are properly taken, and and they put the suit on and it fits like a glove. Well, that's kind of the same thing, I think, with our business, is that when we're really able to, like Danielle did, is see that there was, say, a product or something that really would not be beneficial for this particular person, and by doing that, she did elevate herself. She not only elevated herself as a master of what she's doing, she elevated herself as a person in her customers' eyes, and probably, like I said, the fruits of that labor came across, and we all know Danielle, and we know Danielle was doing it strictly, is the way I feel all of us do, is that we're actually listening and wanting to provide a service that's going to be of benefit to the person that we're dealing with, and that we're, partnering with in their goal to help them achieve the result that they want. And when you do that, then it's going to come back at you tenfold. So, like I say, I just thought that was kind of interesting, that kind of that little the thing about the movie, and the detail that that went through, and listening and those kind of things, which has become a lost art, because I think the industry sometimes as a whole is now getting a very bad rap, because it seems like that there's so many people out there that are just saying, okay, they're all excited about it, but are they excited about it because it's going to help me? Or are they excited about it because ultimately it's only for their benefit? And I think sometimes, that's where the industry is getting a bad name. And I'm for one, I'm glad to be partnered with such amazing people on this panel, that we all have the mindset of operating with honesty and integrity and doing what's really best for the people that we have. So, I've even actually talked to a couple of people in my current business, and with talking to them, I'm going, I really don't think this is for you. As opposed to saying, oh, okay, I've got one more spot to fill on my team and I'm going to get paid, kind of thing. I've actually told a couple of people that I don't think you have, maybe the friends list yet. I think maybe some more not computer skills, but, say some networking skills. Let's work on like mine there. And so that's just kind of my 2 cents. I just like being with you guys, and operating in honesty and integrity and with value, and for the ultimate what's good for our customers. So thanks.
Those are great points. I don't know the exact quote out of the book, but one of my favorite quotes in this chapter was, influence is more about intuition, and then it continues. Maybe one of you has the book there, but I think that is so true, because sometimes people aren't showing, they're saying one thing with their mouth, but they're feeling something different. And if you learn to listen, it's interesting, because one of the things that I thought was one of my biggest weaknesses when I first came to this arena of internet marketing. I'm a great listener. I've always been a great listener, not much of a talker, but a great listener. And I thought that coming to the internet, once I was shown to do this and do this and do this, I thought, oh gosh, I'm never going to make it at this, because I'm a better listener. Now that I've been in it a while, come to find out, that's probably one of my greatest skills, even though it's still on the internet, is to be a good listener. But not just to listen with my ears, but to actually listen with my heart and feel if what the person is telling me is genuine or not. Use my intuition to feel into them and see if what they're saying to me is juicy, if it's or if it's flat, if you can just tell that they're just saying words, but they're not being genuine, and really, their heart's not into it. So I think all these skills are so important, and again, not just in business, but in just everyday life, and communicating with family members, and different people that you have to deal with in your life. But that sentence really jumped out at me. Influence is more about intuition. sometimes you can just feel that somebody needs something a little bit more, a little bit different. Like you said, Vicki, not everybody is good for every business. You know, we really need to go back to what makes your heart sing. If this sort of thing doesn't make your heart sing, don't do it. If you don't love people, don't do it, because you have to work with people. And you have to work with all kinds of people, not just people that are just like you and think just like you. That's why we have to do so much of this studying to learn and talking to different people and seeing how people are driven by different things and help guide people into not doing something just for the sake of the money, because all of us on this panel here can tell you that will never work. You can't build your business that way. There are maybe one personality type that can pull that off, but it won't be long lasting. It won't be, you know, something that their great grandchildren are going to be able to inherit from them. It'll just be until that deal is over, and then they're going to drag people into something else. And for their own benefit, as you said, Sandy, in one of your comments. And that is a sad reality of this platform, unfortunately. And it's sort of a learning curve. But once you can see that for what it is, then it's very easy to spot after that. So that's the good thing. So just remember to not just listen with your ears, but listen with your heart, and really see look them in the eye and feel into them, see what they need. And if you don't have it, refer them to someone else that does. You know, you don't have the answer to everybody either. At least I don't. That's what I found out. I don't have the answer. Sometimes that's one of the great things about networking with different people. I know what everybody has now. I can just go, oh yeah, go here, and get your help. Okay.
You know, that's such a powerful thought right there. Just the when you make that shift in your communication with people, when you start focusing more on what that person actually wants and needs, then it makes it easier to communicate with them, for one, but also it helps you to you know, recognize when what you have is not going to be good for that person. And then, of course, you know, the more that you get to know people, the more that you see that's available out there. So then when you have somebody that comes to you that you know isn't going to fit what you've got going on, is that you can actually direct them to somebody that it would work with them. And then that helps to elevate you in that person's eyes too, because then they're going to be like, gosh, that person really cared about me. They weren't just about making the money. They really cared about what I need, what I wanted, and they helped me achieve that. And so when something happens and they connect with someone else that isn't going to be right with them, and they think back, oh wait, you know, this person that helped me might be the right person for them. It's like this reciprocal, you know, kind of what goes around comes around, that sort of thing. Another thing that I was thinking about on this whole communication part of it, or on the whole connecting with core desires and that sort of thing, is that one thing that one of the leaders in my company always talks about is he's constantly talking about get to know your products, know your services, know everything about your company. And the main reason that you want to do that is because so then when you're communicating with people, is that you can then know, okay, this person wants to achieve this one thing. Does anything that I have going to help that person? And if so, how is it going to help that person? Because if you don't know your products and you don't know your services and all you're focused on is money, 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 you will have no idea whether that person you're talking to is right for what you have to offer in the first place. Just like with Danielle's story, where she was talking about the woman being all excited about her products and wanting to buy everything, when if Danielle had not known about all of her products and how they worked and the ins and outs of everything, she wouldn't have known that these particular ones were not right for that woman. So I think this is a super, super important thing for you guys to remember also, is get to know your products so that you can help guide people in the right direction, and you can establish yourself as that trusted advisor, because that is so much the key. And you know, and there's another thing that a lot of people struggle with online or offline or in any of these home businesses is they're afraid to talk to people on the phone. They're afraid to talk to people through chatting. They're just afraid because they're focused on making the sale, and they're worried about that the person's going to say no to them. But when you shift over into that other the other side, and you actually are focused on, can you help this person, how can you help this person, then conversations become easier, and getting on the phone is not scary. And you know what I mean? And that's it's making that shift. And I know that's a big thing. You know, I struggled with it for a long time. And you know, and just recently I had somebody that was asking, hey, can I get on the phone with you? And I was like, yeah, no problem. You know, it's like one of the craziest things, because for so long I don't want to talk on the phone. You know, I just didn't want to. I'm not a big phone person anyway. And you know, talking on the phone about business is just like, you know. But then I had this person message me, and I don't get it a lot, but a lot, you know, when I do, I'm like, I feel crummy about it. But this particular time, I was like, well, of course I'm gonna be fine with it, because I'm not focused on just making the sale anymore. I'm focused on how can I help this person, and so that makes it easier. So, and knowing your products makes it easier to, you know, have those conversations without the pressure. So we've got some comments on the page. Let me scroll down here. Okay, so Marlene says, I feel this is so true. As women, we have the intuition magnified. I thought everyone could see and feel what I did. What I discovered was I had empathic abilities and could feel the world. A lot of people do not. That is so true, Marlene. I think that you're absolutely right. A lot of times that we do have innate, that natural intuition ability, and yet I think a lot of times also is that folks, even though they have intuition in some aspects of their life, as they get into the home business industry, and they forget to pay attention to that. You know, I think that's super important. Nancy says that's a good point. Thanks, Nancy. Anybody want to jump out?
Yeah, it's funny that, Marlene, that you mentioned that, you know, that empathic ability, that intuition, because, you know, in my mastermind discussion, I did talk about a recent experience where I felt, you know, I got duped by a mentor and lied to and deceived. And, you know, when I look back at it, I knew, you know, I had the intuitions, but I wasn't really listening to them, you know, about this particular person and certain things that were going on. And now when I look back, I'm like, I knew this, you know, but then, you know, when we don't listen to that intuition, it can be so frustrating. But it's also just an awesome reminder at the same time that to remember that I do know and I have that intuition. So listen to it next time, you know. So thank you for touching on that point. And yeah, I agree with Samantha about the phone calls and chatting. I used to be terrified, completely terrified, and it's exactly what she said. You know, it's because the terrifying comes from wanting to get that sale, just focusing on that sale, focusing on getting money, whatever it is. But when you let that go, it's like, yeah, I'll get on the phone or chat with people. I never thought I would ever say I'll get on the phone with somebody, but now it's like, whatever, you know, get to know them, see where they're at. It's just a conversation with another person. If you're not focused on the sale, it's just like talking to anybody, so it's not really that big of a deal. And you see if they are fitting for it or not, if they're interested or not, and if not, okay, cool, next, move on. That's it. So yeah, it's awesome to watch our growth too, each other's growth and our individual growth over the past couple of years. It's really amazing. So glad to see it all and be a part of it all.
I kind of think for me that, you know, talking on the line of talking on the phone, which is something that generally is not very difficult for me because I love to talk and I love to connect with people. But I'll tell you, for me, it's a whole lot easier when I am, say, conversing with someone either through chat or email or things like that, when they say, may I get on the phone with you? You know, for me, that takes a little extra off of, like I said, the sale or anything else, is because they're stepping forward and, you know, that they're saying, okay, well, obviously I want more information or what, those kind of things. And for me, that kind of takes the pressure off, because it allows to open up that doorway just to, like you say, to sit and chat and see if we connect, if we can work together or whatever it is. And sometimes, even though maybe through those kind of phone calls, you may not have a person in your business, but you may establish a new friend that may end up coming on at a later date. And even if they don't come on at a later date, you still may have made a new friendship, which still means it's a win-win situation. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. And of course, intuition, totally agree with Sandy on some of that. There's been, I think we've all had times in our life where we all went, oh, dang, hindsight's 20/20, which basically means, if I'd listened to my intuition, if I'd listened to that sick feeling in my stomach or, whatever, and taken that step back, things might have been different. But, it's because of the intuition now, and maybe going through some of those experiences, that when those things do come up, it's easier to pay attention to. But yeah, I totally agree with you, ladies, on the phone issue. Is sometimes what seems to be so easy to do, talking on the phone. I mean, it's even like this platform. A few months ago, I was, I think Sandy was on that particular hangout. I had the camera covered up. I was terribly self-conscious and didn't want to be out here, and so I just finally decided, I got to do it. And I will admit, that I am more comfortable, and Sandy obviously is seeming to agree with that. That that it's we're just people. We all have those kind of things. We all want to be validated, and we all have something that we can offer each other, even if it's not in business. Is that that we can connect, because I think actually the first time I met Sandy, just as a little side tangent, met Sandy, I'm in a seminar, and we're kind of sitting on the same row, and she goes, "Oh, my favorite color," because I had on a turquoise shirt. Of course, we were introduced to each other by the one person, but this has created a great lifelong friendship between the two of us, whether we're in business or not. So I think this is some of the skills that we just need to take forward when we are looking at what we do for our living. So that's my 2 cents.
This hangout is a perfect example of what we're talking about here, because at one point all of us were in the same business, and now we're not. We've all sort of done, well, some of you are still in some of the same stuff, I think, but we've all kind of grown and gone different directions too. And yet, I mean, these are 3 of my most favorite people in the whole earth right here on the panel, so we're going to be lifelong friends forever. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter whether we're working together. We made a relationship with each other. We became lifelong friends and sisters, so this is what you want to get from whatever you're doing online, is this sort of a relationship with people, whether you ever sell them anything. I've never sold any of you anything, and we have these tremendous relationships. So it's business is an interesting thing, at least this sort of business, when you're incorporating this sort of mindset work and everything. It's a growth process. It's I don't even think of it as business, and maybe I should. Maybe I'd be more successful if I did think more business-like. But I think, I just want to get to know that person, find out what makes them tick, what challenges do they have, what do I have that can help them. And I do a lot of volunteer work, so I do a lot of volunteer mentoring, and I'm with a group of people that do volunteer mentoring, and that is one of the things that that all of us have found out, is that when you're picking up the phone to help someone, or when somebody's calling you for help, it's so much easier to be on the phone than if you have in the back of your mind, I got to make this sale, I got to one more person in my business before the end of the month, or whatever. I mean, obviously those are things that sort of need to happen, but if you're focused there, you're just not going to move forward. And if you do, you're going to get business connections, but you're not going to get those really deep heart-to-heart connections that you're looking for, because that's what we're really, all of us are trying to do. We're trying to connect with each other, whether we do it through business or any other way. People need connection with other people, and they need to know that it's a genuine connection and not one that is, I think that's why people are afraid to talk, because they don't trust their intuition. As silly as it sounds, those of us that have had, and I know all of us here have, we've had intuition about things and we've ignored it, and it's come back to bite us in the butt. But that's such a great thing, because again, it's proof that we did know. Maybe we didn't listen that time, but we did know, so we can trust ourselves. And we learn that we can trust ourselves on the phone as well. You can feel with your heart on the phone. You don't have to be looking somebody in the eye. So one of the things in the book, and it was talking about a calf. I'm sorry I don't have the book right here, but it was talking about forcing a calf to do something. And this is one of the, it made me think of a situation where I had a horse that I had to find a home for, and my uncle found someone to buy this horse, and I did not want to sell this horse. I was very connected to her, and she was very connected to me. And they went to load that mare, and they fought with her for hours. Like, they were manhandling her. They were trying to get her into this trailer to take her off the property, and I mean, she just fought them tooth and nail. And finally they called me and they said, "You have to come out here and help us load this mare." And so I really didn't want to be there. It was breaking my heart to have to get rid of her, but I went out there, and I walked up to her and I just whispered in her ear that she needed to get into the trailer, that we had to split ways, and it was okay for her to go. And I just whispered it very quietly, and she just walked right into the trailer, and everybody there almost passed out. They're like, "Oh my God, we've been fighting with this mare for 2 hours, and you just whisper in her ear." But when you have a connection with something, whether it's a person or an animal, it doesn't. Sometimes it's the very softest things that can influence. So you don't have to scream from the top of the roofs about everything that you're doing. Yeah, you have to market yourself, but sometimes it's that quiet voice that can get through all of the loudness. So just be genuine with people and you'll do just fine. That's my message of the day.
I think there's a little quote in here, and this goes perfectly with your story, because it says, it goes right after the calf story. It says, "Lest we forget, it is a memorable image of what a little moving we have to do in order to move someone else to action." And that's, of course, when we connect with that core desire of what that other person is wanting. And, because if you're sitting there trying to force something to happen, just like they were arguing with the mayor to try and get it into the trailer, and and in the story they were talking about getting the calf in the barn, and when the barmaid, or the the little I guess she was a maid or whatever, she came along and just stuck her finger in the calf's mouth and led it into the barn because she knew that it wanted a nurse, or it wanted milk or whatever. When you can connect with those things that people truly want, they move so much easier. And when you're trying to say, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, people are like, what? I don't want to have any part of it. So it's like once you connect with that core desire, people move in your direction so much easier. And one of the other things that kind of came to mind when everybody has been kind of sharing their thoughts about being on this panel and all of us having such a great relationship, and that and I love you guys. I absolutely love you guys, and I'm so glad to be a part of this group, and I'm glad you're here as well. But one thing that popped into my head when Catherine was talking about that was, what happens also when you start to, really connect with people's core desires, and you're working on trying to find people to work with and that to join your business, is that you actually will connect with some awesome and amazing people that you will love being in business with. Whereas if you're just trying to force people into your business because you want to make that sale, you end up with a bunch of people who could care less, who you're not really friends with, that you don't get along with that well, and you're always trying to work towards making them do something, whereas when you connect with people on a level where they actually are connected with what you have to offer, and you've got it and you presented it in a way that actually is beneficial to them, then they're highly motivated because they're on the same page as you are. I mean, it's such a big difference. It's just like, wow, I never realized it could be so easy to get somebody to work with and have it be beneficial for everyone, and have people in your group that are motivated and excited about doing the same things that you are. It's just, I've got a couple of ladies that have recently joined my team, and I'm just so happy to have them. And Marlene, since you're on the panel, I can mention you. I'm glad to have you on board, and it's absolutely awesome being connected with ladies that, are excited about what they're doing, not only in the business that they have in the background, but in the business that they're connected with me with, and it's wonderful. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. And the other thing is and this is kind of slightly on a different topic, but what I love about reading this particular book is that Dale Carnegie shares these different stories, like Chapt's story, and the story about the insurance salesman, and then he has this other story where he talks about a person that was like working in the education department, and he couldn't fire people, he couldn't promote people, he couldn't do any of those kinds of things. He was trying to motivate and work with a whole big group of people, and so when his wife was like, look, you've got to connect with them with the things that they care about. And so she was like, here, go out into the world and show the world what it is you truly care about. When you do that, then the people who work with you will see that, and then they will connect with you, and you'll be able to influence them more. So I thought it was just a really powerful story of, when you focus on things that you care about, other people recognize what you care about too, and they resonate with that, and then everybody moves together to accomplish those things. So I think that's just a powerful story. But I encourage you guys to get this book because it shares these different stories, and it helps you to remember, what it is how we should truly be interacting with people, so that you can grow your business, and so that you can connect with people on a deeper way, so that it's not just this superficial just trying to get a sale. It's actually you connect with people so that you can have business partners and people that you enjoy working with and who enjoy working with you as well. So anybody else want to add anything before we wrap it up for today? No.
I guess not, huh? Everybody got quiet all of a sudden. We all got emotional. That's what it is. We all got all teary and all heart filled, and now we're afraid to speak because we're going to start crying or something. I just want to thank everybody for coming. It's great to be back, and I hope to be here next week. It might be a little touch and go for a while with me, so we'll see, but I'll always be here whenever I can. I love to be here with you ladies, and I love each and every one of you, and all the people that come listen to us ramble on and find our way through this craziness called the internet. This is a great book, and all of these books, we have like a whole list of them we had to choose from, and they all would have been just as wonderful, but I almost wish these books were named a little differently, because I think that people do, they're a little untrusting of the name or something, like, you're trying to manipulate people. Even I was, when I was given the book, the original book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I just put it on the shelf because I thought, I don't need to manipulate people. I immediately, see, that's negative thinking. That is what we learn how to reprogram by doing this sort of work. I immediately say, oh, I don't need to manipulate people. That's just my bad thinking. So that's what helped and look how far I've come now. Now I'm like, read this book, you know. So these are the things that we're helping each other reprogram our brain, all these things that we come up with from childhood and how we misinterpret things and we don't follow our intuition and our heart, you know. And so we're just finding our way, and I'm so glad that you all join us as we grow and watch us grow. It's wonderful to watch everyone grow, and I just feel like we're like in a little soul group or something here. I don't know, but much love to all of you. Thank you.
Well, you know, just one of my little parting thoughts, and Catherine, that is so true, is that, you know, I think we're entering into an age where, you know, we can all consider ourselves kind of, I guess, light bearers. You know, that I think as a whole, I think, you know, society and the world are looking for more connections. They're looking for true relationships, and I'm like you. When some of these books were first presented to me years ago, yeah, it's like, no, you know, I don't, you know, be influenced or, like say, manipulated, coerced, any of these kind of negative type words and things like that. And I think what we're dealing with now is more of a heart conscious world where we want to connect with people. And I think the more that we can do that, and the more that we have people come on forums like this, and the more that we practice that in our own lives, then the more people that we touch, and the more people we touch, then we really can change the world. So I'm so grateful for this platform, and like I totally agree with you and everybody else on the panel that this is a great way to reach out and create friendships and do those kind of things, and not only in business but in life in general. So I'd like to thank everybody for coming too, and I'm like Catherine, I'm on as I can. But when I'm not on, I sure do miss it. So thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it.
Okay, I didn't hear what anybody said there because I had a train going by, but did everybody have a chance to say something before we wrap it up? Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this beautiful Saturday morning. Meet us here again next week at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. You can find us at SaturdayMorningMastermind.com. And also jump over to our Google Plus community, which is MindsetMasteryCollective.com. I'll go ahead and post those links below the video here so you can jump in our community. And then, of course, always find us on Saturday morning. So with that, have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.